Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. Now, this is a special segment. We call it Fitness Friday, and you're probably wondering what fitness has to do with money. Well, the thinking is that if you are not mentally and physically fit, then you can't enjoy the money that you work so hard to earn and the money that you earn over time when you invest it. So, on today's program, we're going to be talking about a few tips and tricks that you can follow so that you can improve the nutritive value of the food that you consume. My guest today is Neha Ranglani, who is Integrative, a nutritionist and health coach. Thank you so much, Neha, for taking the time. We're going to be talking about plant-based proteins and how important they are. Let's get started with the whole concept. Do you think that people don't have enough of these plant-based proteins in their diet right now? And what can people do to add more to their diet?
Hi, Alex. Thank you. So I believe that, we have given a lot of importance to protein and especially non-vegetarian forms of protein. But very few people understand the fact that every food that we eat contains protein. And we have a lot of plant-based sources of protein that can really help us with our, repair and wear and tear of our body. So when we talk about plant-based proteins, I'm talking more about your nuts, seeds, legumes, your grains, green leafy vegetables. All of them contain protein. And it's not only about eating meat all the time to meet your protein needs, but just eating the sort of a balanced diet to get like an array of amino acids into your body to be able to make the protein the body needs.
When we were speaking earlier, you were also speaking about the concept of complete protein foods.
Yes.
And whether it's important to eat those complete protein foods. What really is the approach that someone should ideally have?
Right. So when I say complete proteins, what I mean is we have 20 amino acids that we need in our body, but out of that, 9 are essential amino acids, which means we cannot make it. Our body cannot make it. We have to get it through food. And the other 11, our body can produce it. So the whole idea is that we need to get all those 9 essential amino acids from our food. And most probably all your non-vegetarian foods are complete protein, because they contain all the 9 essential amino acids. But even in your vegetarian plant-based sources, we have complete proteins. Like we have quinoa, we have soya, we have chia seeds, and then buckwheat, and obviously spirulina is a very, very good source of protein again. So complete protein. So these are also the sources of protein that we have, which are complete when we talk about. I'm a vegan myself, so when I talk about vegetarian, what I mean is vegans most, primarily because they are the people who really struggle with meeting their protein needs, and that's what they think. So the whole idea is to get all the food groups that can give you the different amino acids. So even your dal rice becomes a complete protein because your rice is lacking in one amino acid and your dal is lacking in one. But you mix it together, it becomes a complete protein. So if you have the right pairings and combinations of food, you can get your complete proteins in that sense.
What about soybean? Because a lot of people traditionally have talked about soybean as a source of protein that people can look at. And the other thing that I wanted to know is, quinoa as an alternative to rice is something that a lot of people are projecting, but people, I think, shy away from it considering that it's a little costly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so let me answer your first question about soy. So soy again is a complete source of protein. If you see edamame, if you see any soy products like tofu and tempeh, and also your basic all soybean products. But what happens is with soy, we have a lot of GMO and a poor quality soy that's coming to us thanks to the crop and the seed that is grown. So it's very important to choose an organic non-GMO soy so that you're consuming the right thing and you're getting your proteins from that and it's not really damaging your body. Now coming to your second question, it's quinoa is fairly new in the market. I mean, it's just been some years that we've heard about quinoa, but it's an amazing millet. It's actually a seed, and it's not even like a grain. It's a seed, and it's sort of a millet category. So I know people shy away from having that because it's a little expensive. So if you want to like replace it with like a little inexpensive version of it, then it would be your amaranth. Amaranth is an excellent source of protein again, which is your rajgira. And quinoa today is not so expensive in India because it's grown in India and the demand is there. So it's really not so expensive. So one can definitely experiment with it and replace your rice with it.
Yeah, certainly. It's something that I'm very keen on trying on a more regular basis. And you can mix and match, right? Because there are so many possibilities there. I do want to understand, though, from a nutritional standpoint, Neha, how much protein do you really need? And I would assume that it also it's also dependent on the kind of activity that you have. If you're working out more, then you need more protein, obviously. But can you quantify that?
So if you go by the textbook, we need about 1 gram per kg body weight if it's a sedentary or moderately active person. But if you're a very, very active person, or you're doing very laborious jobs, then obviously your protein needs go up to like 1.2 grams per kg body weight. But I would really suggest people not to get stuck up into the numbers, but look at the quality of protein that you're picking up and the foods that you're including in your day-to-day diet, and are they protein rich or not? I mean, even if you do that and you eat a balanced diet, you get enough amount of proteins, and your body is able to then make use of that protein for all its needs.
Neha, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I'm sure that our viewers have benefited immensely from the tips and tricks that you just spoke about. Certainly, I'm going to try both quinoa and amaranth on a more regular basis going forward. I look forward to speaking to you again in the near future.
Thank you, Alex. It was my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, on that note, we're out of time on this edition of The Money Show. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you. Have a lovely weekend, guys. Up next is Startup Central, and this is ET Now.